Picture a high-stakes boardroom in the mid-1980s, thick with the scent of stale coffee and the palpable tension of a failing venture. Dietrich Mateschitz, a marketing executive approaching his 40s with a receding hairline and a sharp, hungry gaze, sits slumped in a leather chair, staring at a series of dismal market research reports. The data is brutal. Consumers hate the taste. They find the medicinal aftertaste repulsive, and the carbonation is described as aggressive. Most entrepreneurs would have shredded the business plan right then and there, burying the idea of a Thai tonic in the graveyard of failed imports. But Mateschitz isn't looking at the liquid. He is looking at the void in the human psyche that craves status, endurance, and a rebellion against the mundane. He wears a classic white Oxford shirt with the sleeves rolled up, a silver wristwatch catching the dim light, and his expression is one of defiant calculation. He knows that in the world of premium commodities, the product is a secondary detail, a mere vessel for a much larger, more expensive lie. This is the moment the beverage industry changed forever, not through chemistry, but through a radical rejection of traditional consumer logic. By the time the first slim silver cans hit the Austrian market in 1987, the Red Bull myth was already being manufactured with surgical precision. Mateschitz didn't just ignore the negative taste tests. He leaned into them, pricing the drink at a staggering 300% premium over Coca-Cola, to signal that this wasn't soda, it was functional fuel. He began a clandestine marketing campaign that felt more like an underground movement than a product launch. Legend has it, he paid students to drive around in branded minis with oversized cans strapped to the roof, and left empty cans in the trash bins of the most exclusive nightclubs in Europe to create an illusion of high demand. In this scene, Mateschitz stands outside a neon-lit 80s nightclub, leaning against a silver car, his white Oxford shirt still crisp, watching the elite youth stream past. He isn't selling a refreshment. He is selling an ego boost in a can. He understood that if people believed the drink was dangerous, restricted, or used by the ultra-successful, they wouldn't care if it tasted like cough syrup. He was building a $20 billion empire on a foundation of pure perception, proving that a brand is not what you manufacture in a factory, but what you colonize in the mind of the consumer. The origin of this global behemoth traces back to a serendipitous trip to Thailand in 1982, where Mateschitz, then a marketing director for Blendax, discovered Krating Dang. It was a non-carbonated, syrupy drink favored by truck drivers and factory workers to stay awake during grueling shifts. Most Western executives would have seen a blue-collar stimulant. Mateschitz saw the DNA of a luxury icon. He partnered with Chaleo Yovidya, the creator of the Thai tonic, but insisted on a radical pivot. They would carbonate the liquid, adjust the flavor slightly for Western palates, and strip away any association with labor. In this flashback, we see Mateschitz in a bright, sun-drenched Thai laboratory facility, standing next to Chaleo. Mateschitz is wearing his signature white Oxford shirt, looking out of place, yet hyper-focused. He is examining a glass vial of the amber liquid. This wasn't about entering the beverage market. It was about creating a new category entirely. The genius was in the realization that while the liquid was cheap to produce, its value was infinite if positioned correctly. He spent 3 years refining the brand identity, ensuring that the Red Bull name evoked power, mystery, and an almost mythical level of efficacy that transcended the actual ingredients of caffeine and taurine. The struggle for regulatory approval was the final hurdle that solidified the brand's outlaw status. For years, Red Bull was banned in Germany and France, creating a black market that did more for the brand's visibility than any television commercial ever could. Rumors swirled that the taurine was extracted from bull testicles, a blatant lie that Mateschitz famously refused to debunk. He knew that mystery was the most cost-effective form of marketing. In this scene, Mateschitz is back in his office, now slightly more cluttered with architectural models of racing tracks. He is on a vintage telephone, leaning back, the same white shirt now slightly creased at the elbows. He is navigating the labyrinth of European health commissions, not with a defensive stance, but with the confidence of a man who knows that every no from a government official adds a zero to his brand value. By the time the ban was lifted, the anticipation was at a fever pitch. Red Bull wasn't just a drink anymore, it was forbidden fruit. This period defined the company's anti-marketing philosophy. Don't chase the customer. Make the customer feel like they need to earn the right to belong to the tribe. To understand the myth, we must look at the cold, hard numbers that define this phantom empire. Red Bull is a company that effectively produces nothing. They do not own a single bottling plant. They do not manage their own logistics. Instead, they outsource the entire manufacturing process to a partner called Roush, allowing them to operate with a lean structure that focuses 100% of their energy on brand management. In 2023, Red Bull sold over 12 billion cans globally, generating roughly $11 billion in revenue. Their profit margins are astronomical because their cost of goods sold is estimated to be less than 15 cents per can, while it retails for $2.50 to $3. We see Mateschitz in a high-tech control room, surrounded by glowing monitors showing global sales maps and logistics data. He is still in his white Oxford shirt, the silver watch reflecting the blue light of the screens. He is the architect of a virtual corporation, a business that sells an idea and collects a tax on every can moved by third parties. This is the ultimate asset-light model, a strategy that allows them to pivot faster than any traditional FMCG company. The genius of Red Bull spending is where the money goes. While competitors spend billions on 30-second Super Bowl ads that are forgotten by Monday, Red Bull spends its $3 billion annual marketing budget on owning the content itself. They are no longer a beverage company. They are a media house that happens to sell a drink. They own 2 Formula One teams, 5 professional soccer clubs across 3 continents, and a sprawling extreme sports media empire. Consider the Stratos jump in 2012. Felix Baumgartner's free fall from the edge of space cost an estimated $30 million, but generated over $6 billion in earned media value. In this scene, Mateschitz is standing in a hangar, looking at a high-tech racing drone and a Formula One chassis. He is wearing the same white shirt and silver watch, his presence dwarfed by the massive machines. He realized early on that if you own the event, you own the narrative. By integrating their logo into the very fabric of human achievement and adrenaline, they have bypassed the skip ad button of the modern world. This vertical integration of lifestyle and sport creates a closed-loop ecosystem. When a fan watches RB Leipzig play or cheers for Max Verstappen, they are consuming a Red Bull product without ever taking a sip. The data confirms this dominance. Red Bull holds a 43% share of the global energy drink market, nearly double that of its closest rival, Monster. This isn't just because of the caffeine. It's because Red Bull has successfully associated its brand with the alpha pursuit of excellence. In this scene, Mateschitz is in a sleek, glass-walled office overlooking a stadium. He is looking at a tablet displaying market share graphs, Red Bull's red line towering over the competitors' gray lines. He is the same man in the same white shirt, but now the environment reflects the multi-billion-dollar reality he created. The myth has become a self-fulfilling prophecy. They have created a world where the drink is a badge of membership to an elite global club of high achievers, risk-takers, and winners. The ultimate turnaround wasn't a change in the product, but a change in the definition of media. In the late 2000s, as traditional television began to die, Red Bull didn't panic. They had already built their own distribution network. Red Bull Media House became a powerhouse, producing feature-length documentaries and high-definition live streams that rivaled major networks. They stopped being a sponsor and became the creator. In this scene, Mateschitz is in a high-end video editing suite, the walls lined with monitors showing extreme sports footage, mountain bikers jumping off cliffs, planes flying through pylons. He is wearing the same white shirt, leaning over the shoulder of a young editor. He is no longer just a beverage salesman. He is a studio head. This strategic pivot ensured that even if the world stopped drinking caffeine, Red Bull would still own the most valuable asset in the 21st century: attention. They transformed a liquid commodity into a cultural phenomenon that is platform agnostic and immune to the commodity trap that kills most consumer goods.
Supply chain management relies on predictability. When you have 14,000 unique parts sourced from different suppliers globally, predictability vanishes. Lego's factories were paralyzed. They were manufacturing storage bins for parts that were rarely used. The molds for these specialized pieces cost tens of thousands of dollars each to produce, but were only used for 1 or 2 sets. The company had lost the ability to measure the true cost of its products. They were essentially flying a 747 with no instrument panel in the middle of a storm, and the storm was about to break.
The legacy of Dietrich Mateschitz, who passed away in 2022, is a $20 billion blueprint for the future of business. He proved that in a saturated world, the most valuable commodity is not what you can touch, but what you can feel. Red Bull succeeded because it refused to play by the rules of the beverage industry, choosing instead to become a pillar of global culture. The myth is now a reality, a company that owns the teams, the athletes, the media, and the moment of victory. As we look at the final image of a single Red Bull can sitting on a marble pedestal in a sunlit gallery, we realize that the liquid inside is almost irrelevant. It is a symbol of the audacity to dream, the courage to be dangerous, and the brilliance of selling a $20 billion myth to a world hungry for wings. The story of Red Bull isn't about an energy drink. It's about the triumph of branding over reality, proving that with the right narrative, even the most hated taste can become the most coveted status symbol on the planet.